live coverage of XpoNorth as it happens.
This is XpoNorth Live.
If you want to supercharge your smartphone, our next guest is the man that you must speak to. Marc Settle, I'm delighted that you're joining us here live on XpoNorth.
Hello.
Thanks for coming to Inverness.
My pleasure. Well, it's a great city.
Can you tell us a bit about why you've come to XpoNorth Festival? And you're just fresh from a talk, I hear, earlier in the day.
Yeah, just finished my session with about 40 or 50 people, which was great, showing them the potential of a smartphone, not just an iPhone, but Android, or for the few people who've got a Windows phone. If you just use the phone, you can probably do a fairly good job recording video, recording audio, taking photos. But there are quite a few things if you want to raise the quality to professional levels. Because I work at the BBC and we're trying to get our journalists to understand how to use a phone effectively. Because if you have a smartphone and all you do with it is make phone calls and send text messages, you might as well give that phone back and get a 10-year-old Nokia that can only make phone calls and send text messages. Because in essence, with a smartphone, you've got a newsroom in your pocket. It can record broadcast quality video, broadcast standard audio, photos for a website or for online or for social, if you know what to do with it. Because most people are okay, but there are some things which can make the real difference.
So you're telling us that traditional hacks might be out of a job once you're finished with your
I don't think that
training.
will really happen. There will always be a case where the guys here with their proper broadcast cameras are going to be needed, because the expertise of a camera crew and a sound recordist and a lighting technician, those skills can't be immediately replicated by what a smartphone can do. On the other hand, the size of these cameras, you're not going to be carrying one of those with you all the time, whereas you always have your phone. And so if that story happens in front of you and you've got your smartphone, then what are the things you need to do in order to record footage that could be broadcast on the BBC or on social media? And so there will always be a time where the broadcast camera is useful, but the smartphone is still extremely important.
So I know in your role with the BBC Academy, you talk a bit about apps as well within the technology. Is there particular technology that you like to promote, for example, in your work, or apps that you think are particularly useful when making films?
Being at the BBC, it's quite difficult for me to promote.
Of course.
What I can do is explain to people the benefits of what you can do with third-party apps. Apple, I'll talk about Apple more than Android, because that's much more my speciality. But Apple have made the iPhone do a lot of very clever things, but within certain limitations. For example, these cameras record, I imagine, at 25 frames per second, which is the broadcast output standard in the UK. The iPhone only records at 30 frames per second, but third-party apps let you record at 25. They let you hear the audio when you are recording video. The iPhone itself won't let you do that. So if you're listening on a pair of headphones while recording video, you don't hear anything if you're using the iPhone camera. But if you use third-party camera apps, and there are lots that can do that, then you can hear the audio while you're recording video, which is hugely important. There are apps that let you adjust the focus while you're filming. The iPhone itself won't let you do that. So there are a range of third-party camera apps for video filming that give you the control that a proper broadcast camera will do as well.
So to finish, what would be your top tip for someone starting out with a camera and trying to get into this kind of mobile journalism?
I think practice. It's just a simple thing, that the more you do the things with your phone to perfect how to use it, then the easier it's going to be. But in terms of the device itself, things like an external battery, video filming on a phone remarkably drains your battery. So having an external battery can make a real difference. Extra capacity, 1 minute of video could be like 300 megabytes. So unless you've got lots of space, then you're not going to be able to record much. So those two can make the real difference to being able to record and just not having the space or having even the power to do it at all.
Well, Marc, thank you very much for your time. I'm sure many will take your tips on board, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your stay in Inverness.
Thank you.
Thank you.